first stop.
Yeah.
Way back. August 21st, 1886. And it hits you with this question. It feels so modern. Who am I beyond my accumulation of days? Beyond my job, my address, even my political opinions. It's fundamental.
Totally. And the note points out this difference, Young people seem so sure of who they are. But middle-aged people, they start wondering if they ever really knew.
That uncertainty.
It's not just some historical thing, is it? It makes you think about, our labels now, job titles, social media profiles, are they the real us? Or are we always kind of reevaluating, just like they were back then?
It's a timeless question, absolutely. And what's fascinating is how that historical query links directly to something much closer, from August 21st, 2004.
Okay.
Here we get this idea of flexible identity. It's put up against brand loyalty to oneself, almost like you have to stick to one version of you.
Oh, brand loyalty to yourself.
Yeah. And the example they use is Governor McGreevey coming out. It sparked this whole critique of what they called one-sided morality.
Meaning?
Well, the source argues it's kind of arrogant to think one single moral code has all the answers. And interestingly, it suggests he shouldn't have resigned.
Wow. Okay. The point being, when your personal truth bumps up against these rigid expectations or this fixed idea of who you should be, well, that flexibility, that willingness to change, that's what lets you find a deeper, more, authentic self, even if it rocks the boat publicly.
And there's more from that same day in 2004, right? The story about Gary Cooper and Michael Beasy.
Oh, yeah, that's quite something. So back in '76, they founded this organization, Exodus.
Exodus. Okay.
Its whole purpose was supposedly to help people find freedom from homosexuality.
Right. I think I've heard of it.
But here's the kicker. Despite being, deeply invested in this whole thing, both founders eventually left the group. And it just perfectly captures this idea of flexible identity, doesn't it? Your real self isn't always tied to the labels you pick or even the causes you fight for.
It's like there's this deeper drive.
Yeah, exactly. A drive for personal truth, even if it means tearing down everything you thought you stood for.
It really shows how much people can change.
Absolutely. And that brings us neatly to a 2024 commentary that digs into this. They call it Dynaxiom 00001.
Right.
Like a core principle they're exploring. And it asks this key question. The fact that you can change your mind or have a change of heart, is that proof of free will? It leads to this thought, the jury's still out on free will. Maybe our sense of self, our agency, isn't as clear-cut as we think. If our identity can shift and change, how much of that is us directing it? And how much is just the reflections bouncing around in that mirrored room of our life?
It really challenges you to think about what defines your, essential self.
Exactly.
So, okay, we've talked about identity being flexible. Let's switch gears slightly. How about reality itself? Can it be recreated or relived?
Ah, yes. Film.
Right. Let's look back to August 21st, 1999. There's this discussion about the movie Strange Days.
Catherine Bigelow, right. Intense film.
Very. And its whole premise was mind-blowing back then. You could record life experiences onto these discs and replay them, feel everything.
Yeah, the squeed device.
The source notes this idea, kind of seductive. Life would be more exciting if we could just simulate life and then try to act it out.
Like a rehearsal.
And there's this quote, films are the children of real life giving birth to real life.
Real life, REEL.
Exactly. So it's not just entertainment. It's about art reflecting us, but then projecting something back out, blurring those lines between real and imagine.
It totally captured that late 90s feeling, didn't it? That fin de siècle vibe, end of the century anxiety, excitement.
Definitely.
And it's classic mirror art, postmodern film, reflecting on itself, reflecting society's fears. Which makes the 2024 note about films as potential prayers to the future so resonant.
For the future.
Yeah. The source talks about how nobody could really imagine something like 9/11 before it happened, but afterwards, it seemed like a movie. It suggests art somehow taps into these deep collective anxieties, maybe even foreshadows things before we can consciously grasp them.
And that connection gets even eerier, right? With the 2025 update on Strange Days.
Yeah, this is where it gets properly unsettling. The update notes the film's plot. LA becomes this dangerous war zone. There's a fascist government led by a former real estate mogul and convicted felon.
Wow. That hits a bit close to home for some interpretations of recent events.
To say the least. And apparently the film's got this growing cult following now.
So what are we saying? Did the film predict this? Or is art tapping into something deeper, maybe even shaping things?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
How often does art, maybe without even meaning to, mirror or predict the future? That line between imagination and reality feels awfully thin sometimes.
It makes you look at movies, at stories, differently. Not just as escape, but maybe as clues.
Or warnings. Or maybe even unconscious blueprints. It's a powerful thought how the stories we tell might actually influence the reality we end up living.
Yeah. Definitely something to chew on. All right, let's move on. From August 21st, 2010, there's this really interesting blog post about unplugging.
Ah, yes, the perennial desire to disconnect.
Right. And it uses this great analogy from the 80s. Remember when bands released unplugged albums?
Oh, yeah, MTV Unplugged, Nirvana, Clapton.
Yeah, exactly. Stripping away the electric guitars, the synths, just getting down to the acoustic core of the music.
Letting the song itself shine through.
Precisely. So the blog asks, similarly, if we unplug our lives, will the core of our lives show through? Can we eschew an electrified life for one lived in the absence of it?
It's a big ask in our world.
It is. It's not just about putting down your phone for an hour. It's asking what's really essential when you strip away all the digital noise.
And one insight from that post really stood out to me. It's why electronic communication is so distracting. Because it's always changing, or might be changing. We keep checking email, notifications, feeds, because we don't know if something important has popped up. It demands constant vigilance, unlike, say, a painting or sculpture. It's just there, fixed in time and space, as the source says. It displays itself completely. You can look away, come back, it's the same. It invites contemplation, not constant checking.
That's a really smart distinction. It's about the nature of the medium.
Right. The fixed versus the fluid.
And thinking about tech, there's this related note from August 24, 2009. It's about the iPhone. Remember when it was new and exciting?
Vaguely feels like another era.
Right. The observation was it wasn't just a phone, it was a really fun camera, especially with apps like Sepia Camera.
Instant vintage.
Yeah. And the author contrasted messing around endlessly in Photoshop with the freedom of just taking the picture with the effect already baked in. No fiddling with settings, just spontaneity.
So even within tech, there was this desire for a simpler, more direct creative act. And unplugging from endless options.
Exactly. Finding freedom in limits.
Okay, that idea, finding the core, the authentic experience, maybe even through technology, sometimes sets us up for the really big challenge. AI music. This comes up in 2024 and 2025.
Right. Can something made by an algorithm have that soul, that core we're looking for?
Well, the source describes someone trying to unplug AI music.
Yeah.
Like trying to break it down to just chords and melody or playing a real guitar along with it, trying to find if there's a soul within it.
And what did they find?
The observation was pretty stark. Recordings are illusions of music. Basically, they capture a performance, but they aren't the music itself.
Oh, okay.
And the implication is AI music, being made purely from algorithms, might only exist within that illusion. It might not work outside of its own perfect generated context, like a trick that falls apart if you look too closely.
Wow, so it lacks a fundamental core.
That seems to be the suggestion. And the 2025 anecdote drives it home. There's a keyboard player who tried interacting with an AI music model. They described it as tedious and even called it a form of wanking. Asking basically, is that what music is? Just generating patterns?
It's a serious critique.
And it leads to this very strong statement in the source. All AI music is currently a novelty, more or less. It's more of an unserious toy than a serious way of making art.
A toy.
Yes. And it goes on. Art is perceived as being useless and frivolous, so it might as well be a toy. But that philosophy is corrosive to culture if you capitulate to it.
That's a huge claim. If we treat art like a toy, something disposable or just functional, we lose something vital.
We risk losing the value of human creativity, that, rigorous, difficult, messy process of making something truly unique. It forces us to ask what authenticity really means in art, especially now.
Okay, so let's try and pull this thread together. We live in a time where being of popular culture, ignoring emails, being blasé about social media is almost trendy.
Right, the performance of indifference.
So in that context, when we talk about unplugging, what are we really looking for? What's truly left when we strip things away? Is it about finding something deep inside or just swapping one kind of noise for another?
It's the core challenge, isn't it? What's genuinely authentic?
Which leads us nicely into thinking about information itself and how it shapes us. From August 21st, 2005, we get this idea of exformation.
Exformation, as in the opposite of information.
Sort of. The idea is our minds are actually designed to throw away most information. But the insight here is about being strategic. Focus your attention, your mental energy, on projects that can diminish regrets.
So be intentional about what you let in and work on. Filter out the rest to avoid future if-onlys, like a mental spam filter focused on regret prevention.
Exactly. Actively curate your own attention.
That makes sense. And it connects to another idea from 2005, silent editing. This comes from Diane Ravitch's book, The Language Police.
Silent editing. What's that?
It's about the hidden ways that content gets shaped. Think about books, media stuff gets tweaked, stuff gets left out, often without anyone noticing.
By editors or?
Yeah, editors, publishers, maybe even unspoken cultural rules about what's okay to say. It raises this really important question. Who influences us more? The famous author or the invisible editor making those small changes?
That's a bit unsettling. This invisible hand shaping what we read and think.
It is, and it can seep into unexpected places. That same 2005 entry gives a great example with pop songs. Remember the drug Vioxx? Merck used the song It's a Beautiful Morning in their commercials.
Oh, right. Feel-good song.
Exactly. But then Vioxx got pulled, big controversy. And the source says the song has absorbed the negative contexts. That cheerful song is now permanently linked, for many people, to that whole issue.
So the context completely changed the song's meaning.
Irreversibly. The source even suggests maybe usage licenses need a clause for when stuff like that happens. It shows how easily culture gets, well, tainted by commerce or controversy.
That's a really powerful point about context, and it makes me think about music and documentaries, which came up on August 21st, 2022.
Ah, yes, the soundtrack to reality.
Right. Apparently, music directors are now using AI. They can just type in text prompts or describe the scene dark, dramatic music for smokestacks, and the AI generates it.
Instant mood.
Yeah. And the source contrasts this with old newsreels, like from the 40s or 50s. Back then, the music was often really powerful, uplifting, meant to motivate people, evoke strength, a bright future.
Stirring stuff.
But today's documentary music, the source suggests it can be overused, sometimes it doesn't really fit, or it even makes people feel anxious without knowing why.
So is the music actually helping us understand? Or is it just pushing our emotional buttons? Manipulating how we feel about the images we're seeing?
That's the core question it raises. Is it motivation or manipulation?
It's worth remembering, too, that Pink Floyd's Breathe, from Just Dark Side of the Moon, was originally written for a documentary about ecological disaster.
No kidding.
Yeah, shows how music can fundamentally frame how we see something. It's a reminder to be aware of how sound shapes our perception, often subconsciously.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift focus slightly again to the art world itself. From August 21st, 2022, there's this discussion about art stars.
The big names, the gallery darlings.
Right. And the question is, does the art world actually need them? Can it thrive without these huge figures? The source acknowledges, look, people are always going to seek status, some artists will achieve it, and maybe they do create real shifts in thinking. But
are they stars because of pure, undeniable genius? Or does society kind of create them? Because we need heroes, even in art.
Yeah, that's the distinction. Is it self-made or socially constructed? They mentioned Ed Ruscha as an example, big star in the 60s, but apparently the fame didn't mess with his head or his art.
So it is possible to navigate that.
Seems so, which provides an interesting angle on AI and art, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, the source suggests AI could be the artisan, handling the repetitive stuff, the mechanical tasks, freeing up the human artist for the big ideas.
Delegating the grunt work. We've had macros for ages, though.
True, but the question is that kind of generic automation enough for truly unique art? Does it capture the spark?
Which contrasts really powerfully with this story from August 24, 2024, about a painter named Joe Barnes. He's 99 years old. And every single day, he makes a meditative color field painting. Simple, focused. A bit like Ellsworth Kelly, another artist known for simplicity who also lived to be nearly 100.
Wow. So the insight is?
The potential link between that simplicity, that dedication, the process itself, and longevity. Not just in having a long artistic career, but maybe a long life.
Right.
That sustained, focused creative practice might actually contribute to well-being.
That's incredible. The idea that the way you make art could impact how long you live.
It's a compelling thought.
And building on that, there's this personal reflection from August 21st, 2025. The writer talks about being restless and eclectic, jumping between things, always exploring.
The opposite of Joe Barnes's approach.
Pretty much. They say they admire artists who do just only one thing, like Peter Halley with his cell paintings. But they also appreciate their own return to things like skill, rigor, difficulty, making challenging work like concept albums, generative series.
finding their own kind of rigor within exploration.
Exactly. And interestingly, they also mention enjoying pop music and not acting their age, citing David Byrne as someone who stays vibrant, and seeing that as a nice counterpoint to being too serious or a po-faced depressive.
Okay, so embracing eclecticism and rigor. Maybe finding joy in unexpected places as
Yes.
part of their authentic path.
It speaks to that tension, doesn't it? Deep focus versus broad exploration. Both seem valid ways to have a rich creative life.
It really highlights that whole complex picture. You got this push for technology, for automation in art with AI as the artisan, and then you have the enduring value of human skill, that deep practice, that unique voice.
Whether it's laser focus like Joe Barnes or restless like the 2025 Reflection.
Exactly. The technology can be a tool, maybe even a collaborator. But ultimately, it seems the human element, the rigor, the perspective, the, dare I say, soul, that's what gives art its lasting power and meaning.
So we've journeyed across more than a century, all through the lens of August 21st.
Quite the trip.
From wrestling with identity back in 1886 to grappling with AI music and potentially prophetic films today and tomorrow. These snapshots really do offer some deep insights, don't they?
They really do. We've touched on how identity isn't fixed, how reality and art reflect and maybe even shape each other, the search for authenticity when we're always plugged in, and how information, influence, and artistic rigor weave through our culture.
And these aren't just dusty historical points or abstract ideas.
Not at all. They're live questions. They speak directly to your life right now. 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 To your life